Hey everyone, welcome to the show. I have a bunch of new polling data for you guys today. Before I dive in, quick update on my surgery. As you can see, I have a scar on my right side. It will go down. It will, pretty much disappear. For right now, I cannot put any makeup on it because it hasn't gone down completely. So, yeah, it is what it is. But yeah, I'll be back to normal probably pretty soon. I did find out I'm not having a reaction to the anesthesia as I thought. It's actually an infection. So, dealing with that right now. So, anyway, guys, that's where things are, but I am back. So, I have more bad news for Donald Trump and the MAGA party. First up, I have polling from Marist. So, this is brand new, just came out. Donald Trump just hit his lowest approval rating with this pollster of all time, first and second term. So he has only a 36% approval rating, as you see here at the top, 59% disapprove, 6% are still unsure. What is it going to take? Right? And then check out where he stands on the economy in this poll. So 60% disapprove of his handling of the economy, only 33% approve. Again, 7% unsure. I don't know if I like paying more or not. Really? And then Fox News also released their latest. So I want to show you that. Here is their polling. As you can see here, not much better for Trump. We have almost 6 in 10 respondents who are pessimistic about the economy. It was 59% of respondents who said they're pessimistic. And when they were asked about the direction of the the country, it was equally abysmal. Take a look at this. So, I mean, just horrific. You do not want the chart looking like this, okay? Only 37% are happy about the direction of the country. And that's down, they said, 7 points since July of last year. So it's getting just worse and worse for him every day. And Trump's overall approval rating and on key issues is just as bad in this poll. Take a look at this. So I know it might be kind of hard to make out, but Trump's overall approval rating in this Fox News poll is 39%. I think this might be the first time he's dropped into the 30s with Fox. I'm not 100% on that. He has a 43% approval on immigration, which is his best topic so far. I mean, that's the only one that he's, somewhat hanging in there, although that's still negative. I mean, he's still underwater by quite a bit. Almost, what is that? Almost 20% on immigration. Only 35% approve on Iran, only 31% approve on the economy. And look at where he is on gas prices, 23%. That is pathetic. There were also a couple of polls from last week. I want to share them with you. Obviously, I wasn't around to share them, but I want to show you the overall picture of what's going on because last week they showed Donald Trump's numbers were ticking up a little bit in the Reuters Ipsos poll and on the Economist YouGov. Those were from, though, when everybody was like, oh, war's over, we're good, this agreement's going to stick, blah, blah, blah. And we didn't have the language that was used in it. This was before everybody knew that Iran was going to become extremely wealthy and that we were still going to be in this limbo on the Strait of Hormuz because Israel, of course, is literally blowing up the deal. So anyway, I imagine it's going to tick back down now that people realize that, oh, Donald Trump is just still an incompetent moron and we still don't know what's going on and we still, are up and down, back and forth. So anyway, Newsweek reported on a new poll. This was from the Public Religion Research Institute. They polled almost 5,500 U.S. adults. So this is substantial. Most polls are around 2,000 people at the most. Sometimes, or most of the time, like 1,000, 1,200. So here's what they found. They said 59% believe that Trump is a dangerous dictator whose power should be limited before he destroys American democracy. Support for that view has increased since March, when 52% of Americans agreed with that statement. So by 7 points, it went up. And then there was also a somewhat new national poll from NBC. So take a look at this. It says among Latinos, 64% disapprove, 34% approve of Trump, while 70% of voters between ages 18 and 29 disapprove of Trump, compared to 21% who approve. So his approval rating with these groups range from, and everything I've seen, from like the low 20s to the low 30s. And Trump's unpopularity continues to give Democrats the upper hand in the midterms. Take a look at this one. So this, again, this was from the NBC poll, and you can see the Democrats are ahead by 5 points. And you may think, oh, well, it's, it's NBC, like, of course. But no, NBC has actually been fairly, I would say, forgiving to the Trump administration and generous to them. So this is a pretty substantial swing. Of course, this is, the generic ballot question. This is outside the margin of error. And then last year, if you look down at the bottom, last year around this time, like I was saying, yes, Democrats had a lead, but only 1 point. And that was within the margin of error. Republicans were at 47. So it's, as I've been saying from what I'm hearing in focus groups, it's less that people are excited about Democrats and more that they're turning on the Republicans. Anyway, next up, I have the Emerson poll. So Emerson College just released their June survey, and this is even worse for the Republicans. So take a look at this one. 10 points. Their poll shows Democrats with a 10-point lead on the generic ballot question. I mean, unbelievable, right? And then the reason is because of independents and Hispanic voters. Much like what I said in that other poll, that's what they were citing here. As for Donald Trump's overall approval rating with Emerson, he is also, like with all the others, in the high 30s. So 39.4% approval rating. Just abysmal. And then as you can see, his disapproval rating, that is 54.6%. So his, a lot of times it's not proportional. And as I've explained before, you'll see the approval, going down, the disapproval going up, but not in proportionate amounts. And that is a lot of times because people, as you see here, 6% have no opinion. Don't know why, don't know what it's going to take. But like I said, these people are just not paying attention, I guess. So next up is the AP NORC poll. They released their report last week about Donald Trump rapidly losing support among independents as well. So as you can see here, Republicans, independents are in the middle, Democrats are at the far right. So, Republicans, Democrats haven't moved much since he took office. I mean, his support has dropped among Republicans, but look at where he is with the independents. I mean, he has dropped almost 20 points with independents since he first took office. And there's a pattern that is emerging with this, because the majority of these losses comes from a few key groups. So take a look at this. So you see here, Trump has lost 21 points with independents with no college degree. And even though he's lost support among all of the demographic groups, Hispanic voters are the most disillusioned. So take a look at this. You can see there's white, black, and then Hispanic voters. Look at how he has plummeted. 23 points he's lost with Hispanic voters, with independent Hispanic voters since the beginning of his second term. And then this next one, this is probably the worst by far. Take a look. So check this out. This is obviously a breakdown by age groups. These are all independent voters, broken down by age range. Trump has lost 17 points among the 18 to 29 crowd. He's lost 20 points with the 30 to 44-year-olds. He's lost 19 points with the 45 to 59 category. And then, he's down a little bit, 5 points with the 60 plus group. And then this graphic really undercuts this one that you're looking at really undercuts the narrative about Donald Trump's support among independents 60 and over, because while they haven't dropped off, like you might be going, oh, why are the 60 plus, they're not abandoning him? Well, they weren't really excited about him to begin with. I mean, look at where he started off with them. Only 36%. So, you couldn't lose very much more without getting into his hardcore base. So yes, older Republicans love Trump, but the rest of older voters do not so much. And then check this out. This is another group that Donald Trump is losing that has stuck with him through thick and thin, through everything that he's done, every heinous thing that he's implemented over the last 10 years. Take a look.
Voters on Trump. Look, according to Fox News, he was easily winning them back in October of 2024 versus Kamala Harris. 18 points ahead. The exit poll even had it a bigger margin. But look at where he is now. Woo! Down there, underwater, underneath the cornfields. He's now 14 points underwater. That's an over 30-point switcheroo against the President of the United States. One of the big reasons that there seems to be a rural vote against Donald Trump, simply put, it's the economy. It's inflation. Rural voters on Trump and inflation. Versus Kamala Harris, he was more trusted by 37 points. Now he is 19 points underwater with rural voters on inflation. That is an over 50-point switcheroo against the President of the United States.
So even rural voters are turning on Donald Trump. I mean, it's obvious, right? First, he hit them with the tariffs. Now he hit them with this war. So, of course. And Fox isn't the only one that was reporting that, because as you may have seen, that was from Fox News. There was a recent Reuters Ipsos poll that showed Trump with a 50% approval rating among rural voters, which is still like, oh, wow, 50%, Gina, big deal. That's down 10 points. That's 10 points lower than when he first took office. And look at where he is, or where he was, on his handling of the economy. Check this out. So look at how far he has fallen. I mean, I don't know if you guys can make it out, but only 29% approve in this Reuters Ipsos poll of how he's handling the economy. Biden had a higher rating at the end of his presidential term. Biden was at 34% at the end of his presidency. So Trump is scraping the bottom of the barrel. And then check this out. So 2 organizations recently changed their midterm ratings for the state of Iowa, corn-fed red state of Iowa. So you may have heard Josh Turek, he won the Democratic primary election for the U.S. Senate. Well, both the Cook Political Report and Sabato's Crystal Ball changed their ratings for this race from likely Republican to only lean Republican. So next step is, likely or lean Democrat, I think is what it moves to next. So here's an article if you want to go look this up for the Cook Political Report. But like I said, this was among 2 major pollsters. And like I said, it may not seem like a lot, but this is corn-fed Iowa. Okay, this is a U.S. Senate seat as well, not a state election. So anyway, I mean, like I said, the reason is pretty clear. I mean, farmers are just getting hammered. His war, the tariffs. And listen to this. So the Democratic Senatorial Campaign Committee, they released a poll. They conducted this poll on behalf of, or they had it conducted by public policy polling. And it shows Turek in a tie with the Republican. Her name is Ashley Hinson. Now, he's tied as far as the race goes, but he holds a 26% lead over her among independent voters. So he's at +7, she's at -19 with that group. So, I mean, it could this year. I don't know. And then here's the real key. They said by a 24-point margin, Iowa voters oppose Donald Trump's war and blame him and his Republican Congress for increasing the gas prices. And by a 20-point margin, the respondents said that they blame Trump and Republicans for rising prices on everything, like across the board. Now, again, it's Iowa, red state, but at the very least, Republicans are going to be forced to spend money there when it should just be a cakewalk for them. And speaking of which, check this out. So I have news on the Texas race. So check out what this Republican said. This was at a recent closed door event. I think it was closed door with her supporters. And this is leaked audio of what she said to them. Her name is Monica de la Cruz. So she's talking about her race against a Democratic candidate that I've mentioned before named Bobby Polito. So take a listen.
So I'm going to share with you that we ran a poll, okay, to see where we at. Where we at with, he's a Latin Grammy Award winner. His father is a Latin Grammy Award winner. The high school gym, Vela High School, is named Bobby Polito after him and his father. In addition to that, his uncle is a former county judge, and his cousin is a former DA. So they have very deep roots in Hidalgo County. This is a very, very political family, and obviously has musical talent as well, right? So we ran the poll, and what we found was that I am up by only 1 point in the poll. 1 point. And I said, oh, sweet Lord Jesus, right? That's not good. But here's why. It's not that people don't like me. It's that people don't know me yet. Because how new is my district? What percentage? 80%. So people don't know me.
That must be it. Just people don't know her yet. They know your party, lady. So as you heard there, she's freaking out because Republicans totally screwed her. This is one of those districts that they redistricted in Texas. They're trying to cheat. They're trying to box out Democrats, and they made seats like hers far more competitive. And then especially, you have this year where Texas, which has a lot of Hispanic voters, they are irate. They're irate about the economy. They're irate about Trump's Gestapo and how they're racially profiling people. So, I mean, again, this is a ruby red state, but this seat is in play. This seat is definitely in play this year, and they have nobody but themselves to blame for not standing up to Donald Trump. So, but yeah, I'm sure it's just because they don't know her. They don't know her yet. Anyway. All right, guys. Thank you all so much for watching and listening. Please like, share, and subscribe. Please donate if you can. Love you all. Take care. Talk with you soon.